Lately, I've been hearing a lot about social pressure and living up to social expectations. And I find that essentialism really helps here because instead of trying to do it all, have it all, fit everything in, like many people do in our consumerist society, you actually focus on what matters to you, what brings joy and value to your life. Knowing your values is actually one of the first steps to take towards essentialism because your values tell you what is important and what is not. And once you know what is essential to you, it's way more easy to say no to all the invitations and requests that don't really add value to your life. And I love the way Greg McKeown states this in his book Essentialism. If it isn't a hell yes, it is a no. In case it's really difficult for you to say no to certain requests or invitations, look at it from this perspective. A no is actually a yes to what is essential to you, and it is a yes to your priorities at that specific moment. So, looking at my own example here, over the summer, our team was really busy working on positive experiments and the recording and the scripting and everything else it involved. And we really said this is our priority at the moment. And I remember an organisation reached out for a voluntary commitment, which was quite intensive. And I just said no at that moment and explains that we were still in the aftermath of the pandemic, that I was really busy with positive experiments and that I'd love to be involved at key moments, but I couldn't do a weekly involvement. And the same goes for coffee invites. I remember receiving quite a large number of coffee invites, and I love drinking coffee with people and just connecting to people, but sometimes it's just not possible to do everything at once. So I informed the people that wanted to catch up that, hey, I was busy working on this project, but if they still felt like catching up, that they could reach out in September. And this was actually a great way of also sifting through the different coffee invitations, because there were some people that were genuinely interested in reaching out and connecting. And those coffees took place later on in the year. And other people that were just looking for some quick free advice never got back to me in the first place. Setting boundaries is also something that really works when you want to focus on your essentials. And I found the calendar method is just perfect for that. So in a coaching session, I was actually invited to take a piece of paper and write my ideal work weekly schedule on that. So I created like 5 different slots in there for 5 different days of the week. And then I put in everything that you'd normally expect to be there, like time when we cook and when we eat, the time when I sleep. And then I started plotting in all the essentials. So for me, that was time for breakfast with my family. It is also cooking time, eating time together, having some time to spend after dinner together. And when I then looked at it and also put my work slots in there, I just saw that there was not a lot of time left in the margins. And that also explained why I'd found it so difficult the week before to focus on my values and to actually live my values and focus on the essential things, because there simply wasn't enough time to respond to all the last minute requests. So what happened in that situation was I had a lot of last minute requests because some people were a bit unorganized and disorganized. And as a result, I'd overcommitted on non-essential things, which then made me miss family dinner and other essential points in the week that I found really valuable. Now, let me be clear. If there's a real emergency, like, for example, the roof almost collapsing, yes, that's a real example that always happened in my career, then I'm more than happy to miss family dinner. But if it's just other people being disorganized or late or running behind schedule, there's some point where you've got to say, this is my schedule and it's fine for me to set boundaries. These are the boundaries so I can do what I value. I can live according to my values and live these. And one other thing, don't forget the joys of an empty calendar. So I remember that there are some weekends when we haven't got much scheduled on a Sunday, for example, And this is really the time when we can engage in some of our hobbies and dive deep into our interests, or just decompress after we've had a really, really busy work. And sometimes we had like relatives call last minute whether they could stop by. And previously we said, okay, well, we haven't got anything scheduled, so come over. But that actually meant that a lot of the time, the only slot we could have to do some larger work or focus on our interests or hobbies was now being swallowed away by other things which were not always as essential to us. So we have now become really mindful of when people take in a slot of your calendar, is this actually taking time away from your essentials? And if it is, that might be a reason to actually say, no, I'm very sorry, but this afternoon, despite not having an official appointment, but you've still got something essential scheduled. The experiments. Let's see some essentialism in action. So, what is essential to you? And does your weekly schedule reflect this? Any traps in there? And what are you going to say no to next? Like, in case you find this difficult, perhaps you can create a when-then statement. So when I receive a last-minute, non-urgent request from my client, I will then give him some information on when my earliest opportunity to work on it is, so I don't have to sacrifice whatever is essential to me. So don't buckle into social pressure, but live and enjoy what is essential to you.